welcome back to the Community Game Plan Podcast. It is a new year, a little bit different look today if you are watching this on YouTube or any of our social clips. But we are in January, a few days in, and this podcast will come out probably mid-January. We got lots on the go. We got lots of things coming. This episode is going to be a little bit different than most. We aren't going to actually have a physical guest this time. Our wonderful producers are in the midst of doing some supercuts, as they call it. They're going to just grab the highlights, the best parts of our podcast from the last year.
Our first full year.
Our first full year, which I was just thinking that the other day. I can't believe we started this literally a year ago this month.
Oh yeah,
I think we recorded our first one January, February.
I think you're right. A long time. It's
Because this will be episode 11, and we took like one month, 2 months off maybe. I think we took
I think in the summer.
Yeah. So not bad.
But, and again,
we stuck to something for a year.
Even when we stopped doing exactly. We stuck to it. And we're deciding to keep going, and the rule is, if it doesn't work after a year, stop doing it.
That's right.
So something's working. I don't know whether it's getting the message out is fun. We've finally had people reach out to us to come talk with us.
That's been interesting.
But also I feel, well, if anything, it's also helped with the bonding with like team stuff, because we're always talking real estate, or we're on the soccer pitch talking soccer. This gives us the chance to talk community. And we also, in reviewing our videos, our posts and stuff, we're deciding to continue changing. Like, we're continuing to grow, continuing to better ourselves, and people, like you were saying, there's a lot coming. There's going to be big changes this year coming. So enjoy the fun. Anybody who's watching, this is going to be the silly one. Like, not that we're going to go all strict, all stern, but it's time to really. We're going to open up the talks. January, welcome to the new year. We've got big plans.
We thought, with the new year coming, and we will tease a little bit, our team is growing. We do have a new realtor coming on board later this month, so we'll tease that here as well.
But the amount of stuff that we have on our plate for this month to get going, you don't do a business plan and say, okay, now it's time to go slow. Like,
no.
We'll
this year,
set the pace with a sprint and turn into a jog that we hold for the rest of the year.
Yeah, this year's going to be busy, with our new recruit coming in. We potentially maybe more down the road. He's going to keep us busy. I know that. We're learning, we're growing, we're evolving. We do have some ideas for the podcast to try and make it a little different, bring some spice, bring some new things, some new thoughts to everybody as well. So we do have lots of work, and definitely looking forward to continuing this.
Basically, keep an eye out for us, because we're definitely going to be covering a lot more this year.
We're out there. We're in the community. We're here to help.
I'm sure people are going to see a lot of our flaws on this episode when it's all spliced together. I hope they enjoy it, and I hope they comment a lot on it.
People who are listening to this, who are going to be following, on our podcast
as we grow,
what would you have to say to the people of the area? Like, what do you have going, or something you'd like them to know about UDFC, be it an initiative you're doing or just a basic bit of UDFC advice?
That's a tricky one. Thanks. One thing.
For millions and millions of people are listening. I
could go on a rant of a few things myself, but that's from my side of things.
What do you want the people to know?
We're always trying to be better. And I think the one thing you'll get at UDFC that you might not get elsewhere is an ear that legitimately is listening to your feedback and willing to make changes and improvements where that feedback is warranted. So, like, it doesn't fall on deaf ears. We are very much embedded in the community and respect that the community built this club. Like, I'm not coming in here and imposing my way over the community. I think it's really important to build it kind of all together, and we have to give the people who are part of the community and the people who are ultimately paying in and members of the club that degree of influence that they might not get elsewhere.
What we really wanted to focus on today was, what you are doing and the Canadian Sports Institute of Atlantic are doing to support the coaches of tomorrow. So one of the big programs that you mentioned to us that we thought would be a great topic to talk about here was the New Canadians Coaching Support Program. So that program is helping immigrants and newcomers navigate the path of becoming certified coaches in any sport within Nova Scotia. Can you give us a little bit more information on that, how it came about, any success stories that you got maybe?
Yeah, 100%. So, for those who don't know who the Canadian Sport Institute of Atlantic is, they're one of the 4 institutes across the country that are served under the Canadian Olympic Committee and the Paralympic Committee. So we work with all the provincial sport organizations, commonly referred to as PSOs, but there's just way too many acronyms in sport, so I always say the long versions. So the institute helps with, we have the Ellie Blacks of the world who are going to world championships and Olympics. They train out of the Canadian Sports Institute of Atlantic gym, which is at the Canada Game Center, and our office is in the back of the Canada Game Center there. But we work with athletes and coaches and sports sciences. So these things like mental performance, nutrition, things like that to support organizations like the Halifax Tides, for instance, right now, who are a client of ours, and they do all our training. We support them with, again, mental health, nutrition, all of those things that are off the field as well that help them with their on-field performance. So my job specifically is the equity, diversity, inclusion, accessibility, coaching support is to support those underrepresented groups. So the newcomers one was born out of a need to create specific pathways and support anybody who's new to Canada with how do I get involved in coaching, learning, because sport, as simple as it should be, it's not, unfortunately. It is in North America, right? So my job is to really welcome newcomers who either want to get involved in coaching because they've never done it, or maybe they did in their country of origin and they want to continue it and understand how do I actually do that. Right. And it doesn't matter what sport it is. I'm connected to, again, the many provincial sport organizations who are able to support with funding, finding a club for them to coach with, all those. But I get them ready for that step through my program. Right. Not only just with coaching, but also like community building, right? Like we talk about here, it's not just the X's and O's. It's not just the job. It's sometimes it's connecting them for that peer-to-peer support. So I create a WhatsApp community where they can connect with each other, because there's some things that they probably are not going to be able to ask me because I am not the Mr. World, as Jim was alluding to earlier on.
You're Mr. World.
In my own skill sets and knowledge, and so they're able to talk to each other about things like food and culture and those things that are really important when you're trying to assimilate into a new province, a new country, a new community. So peer-to-peer connection through the WhatsApp communities has been massive for allowing them to feel like, okay, like I have a network, I have friends, I have people who can support me with navigating things like we know exist in society, like nepotism, right? Sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. So I introduce them to other people that they'll know in the sport community and in the greater community. But
I'm sure it's a great safe space too for them to learn from each other.
100%. So that's a big part of it. I'm glad you said that, Eric. Well said. Safe spaces and safer spaces is a real thing that I'm I'm trying to navigate. And one of the things that I'm really advocating for is youth, especially in high school, understanding the benefits of coaching at a young age and how it can help you in your career, regardless of what career you take, right? Because coaches, we learn communication, we learn management, we learn um, administrative things that you have to deal with, communicating with your team,
Talking to people with different personality types.
personalities. You have to be careful of, mental health so you don't, overwork yourself. You burn out of coaching. There's so many different things that apply to real life that you learn from coaching that ultimately you can even put on your resume as well. So having a locker account kind of captures all of that, and you can show a potential employer, whether it's sales or whether it's hospital work, whatever avenue you go. I have some tangible skills that I've learned and captured in these modules and certifications that show that I'm actually capable of doing the job, regardless of what it is.
I love that. When I grew up, I found like as a teenager that there wasn't those opportunities to coach, to volunteer. Like the girls I coach with now and through the last few years, like our club is always contacting us, like, can you reach out to your team and see if there's anybody willing to volunteer, or there's paid positions now for some of these players too to coach, which is great. But I never had that opportunity. I got into coaching just out of pure luck and accidental, and then just enjoyed it and continued.
Yeah. So there's going to be an actual pathway starting right out of high school that will be launched this fall. I'm not going to say too much because it's not 100% over the line, but it's almost there, where they'll be able to get a high school credit under the leadership category for both coaching and officiating. There's the two pathways, so that they're ready as soon as they're really not even graduated, while they're in high school, getting involved in coaching at a younger age. Because I don't know about you guys, but if I knew everything I knew now
I'd have 30 credit
when I was in high school, I'd probably already be coaching the Wanderers,
Oh yeah.
That's funny because I know that that's awesome that's coming, because I know, like, it's not that old, but one of the newer things that have been running is like for apprenticeship. You could apprentice under while in high school under a trade to get a credit that goes towards your actual high school credits.
Yep.
So to actually do it, to finally be looking at coaching as something that is as valuable as a job, that is an actual career deployment, actually something, because a lot of people
interesting.
fall into coaching. Like, I think all of our coaches through high school, junior high, they were just all volunteers, a volunteer lawyer, a volunteer accountant, like, and parents, and they weren't offset, they weren't paid, there was no stipend for them, but that's changed so much.
That's the thing. Like in Europe, they actually, which I think this would be similar to, in Europe, you can actually go to school and then do these coaching courses on the side and get your credits. And so when you walk out of high school or wherever, you're a full certified coach. UEFA licenses, even like Portugal. Portugal is one of the highest country that has the most coaches that come out of it, right, across all soccer across across the world. But they have specific courses that you do in high school, and you walk out, you're a certified coach.
100%. It's about the pathways, right? So I help newcomers with the pathway, which includes, like what you said, alluded to there, Jim, making sure they get their criminal record check. So I make sure that that's covered. So I have a number of codes that covers the cost of that, so there's not that financial burden for them to go, oh, I don't know how to do that. Supporting them with which courses do I need to do? Not just the mandatory ones, but depending on their level of understanding of the sport or society, or youth because you might have lived in the Middle East where things are done completely different culturally, right? And you're coming into a new country where things are done differently, and you're like, well, back home, only men are allowed to play sports, women aren't allowed to play sports. We kind of help teach them how it's different here, and how they need to be prepared to be more inclusive, to be more equitable with their approaches and not just giving boys opportunities to play. If they have a gym full of boys and girls, you're treating them equally and giving them equal opportunities. Those are just some of the things that we kind of just help anybody who's new understand. Mental health is a thing we talk about here. Women's rights are something we talk about here. Trying to keep girls in sport is something we're very passionate about here, knowing that 70% of girls quit sport by the age of 17. So it's like, why is that? And how can you not add to that stat, but help change it?
Reverse it, essentially.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I think that all touches like such a good point of, or like even an underlying point that kind of in all of that being said, it's easier to teach people who are coming and people who want to fit in.
Yeah.
It is easier to teach them those, which they're not small things, they're very important, but it's then to lose the knowledge and the skill they would be bringing forward if we didn't have something to teach these people how to interact and share their knowledge in a way that'll benefit everyone.
And hold them accountable too for some of those things that they might be bringing along that's baggage, right? Like I said, I was born in Kenya, and a lot of African countries unfortunately have some very backwards policies around even allowing people who are gay or and things like that to be a part of society. There's laws in some African countries that you're stoned to death if you're found to be gay, right? Like, so that's the reality of some people coming here that don't understand that here we support anybody regardless of your gender, your sexual preference, whatever it might be. So some of it is holding accountable to some of those newcomers to be like, we don't do that here, and if your wife wants to play a sport, she can. You're not wherever you were anymore where we don't allow that. And sometimes it's difficult to help those men change, or because depending on your age, change becomes more difficult as we're kind of ingrained in our the word I'm looking for, our habits, right? And on top of that, Jim, you alluded to it, some people just aren't capable or willing to change as well. So some of my job is actually identifying the coaches that shouldn't be coaches because they don't have that willingness or capacity to change.
We were talking about inclusion earlier too. You guys are very, very inclusive, you were saying earlier, in the neighborhood hub. What does that inclusion look like on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so the North End is very diverse. We have a huge newcomer population in the neighborhood. So we see a lot of people coming from all different backgrounds, accessing Veith House and our programs and services. But not only that, but the North End has a long-standing history with the African Nova Scotian community and First Nations communities. So it's really important for us that our programs and services are representative of those communities, and that we're not only providing a service, that the service is also culturally relevant to those communities who come through our doors. And not to mention, we also have the largest 2S LGBTQIA plus community here in Halifax within the Maritimes. So a lot of these marginalized and racialized communities are experiencing food insecurity at much higher rates. So we really try to keep that at the core of everything that we do, that not only are our programs accessible, but that they're also meaningful. We do have the ability to do an initial intake with community members, so we can provide them with the most meaningful programs that they need. So we do have a newcomer department. So we have two people who deal specifically with the newcomer community, and both of those employees are newcomers themselves. So they share that lived experience with clients. And so through that program, we can offer socialization opportunities, how to um, learn better English. So we actually have English classes that we provide here. We can accompany them to Access Nova Scotia to help fill out some forms, to try to alleviate those burdens that people face while they're out in the community. And the main kind of role in that we play is to help alleviate the burdens. So as people get more settled into the community, they'll be better positioned to find a job, to support their families, to find hopefully affordable housing, which is not something that is a luxury for many people.
I think no matter where I go, from military bases to growing up in Lake Echo, the shore was kind of like the right place for me. That whole, like, you walk into your buddy's house, you walk in, the family just lets you in, says eat supper. Like, why are you here at supper time? Sit down and eat. Like, so that's a real community in my mind. So bringing it to the city is kind of what I've been trying to do these days. Like, but as far as you touched a lot, Ronnie, what's your like challenges you see people have with this transportation and such?
There's one off the top of my head. It was just after the whole COVID restrictions were lifted, and I picked up a lady who was wheelchair bound, and she hasn't left her house in 2 years.
Oh wow!
Like, hasn't been off of her property in 2 years, and she had to go to a medical appointment, and she was crying just driving down the road, being off her property, being out of her house, talking to somebody. Just it wasn't a fun outing for her, but it was an outing for her, and it was very powerful. We're very fortunate to be able to have the freedom to move, to go out, and
I can imagine. I mean, we were having a hard time, all of us, during COVID lockdown, but somebody like that, I can, the isolation that person must have had is crazy.
2 years is a long time, right?
Yeah.
You know, and she trusted us enough to use us. You know, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So that's one of the stories off the top.
I think that's the relationships you guys are talking about that you form, is because you guys have seen people at their worst, when they don't want to leave but they need to, or people having to ask for help, which is frankly hard enough for a lot of people.
Yep. A lot of people really enjoy using us because they feel they don't have to bother a friend or a family member. It's some independence, you know.
Yeah. No, that's nice.
It's a good service. It's a good. We need more of it out here.
Agreed.
Yeah, there's definitely more need for in the rural communities to help, not just riding like drives like this, but everything, like all the social aspects.
Rural communities are left out of the city a lot.
Yes.
When they think like development, when they think infrastructure, the rurals get forgotten. So so it's sad, but you know what? It's what keeps you close and that feel.
I've never lived in.
No.
I've never had the privilege to live in a small community like those, but I've typically, because of my dad's military background, we've been in cities or on bases and stuff. But I found the military bases are like those little rural communities, like because when I lived on bases, that was my life. That was my community. It didn't matter where they were from. I lived on an American Air Force base, but I hung out with Brits. I hung out with Americans, other Canadians, Germans. It was amazing. But that was my community. It was the base. So that's the closest I have to being in a rural community. But I can imagine what it's like.
Yeah, where you guys touch really close to home for me. My grandmother, when she ended up having issues, couldn't live alone. She had to move in with us for a bit and counted on us for all the drives because there was no other option at the time. Yeah. And something like this would have probably made it so she could have stayed with us longer. Yeah. But
yeah, and that's part of actually what we are trying to do is keep people in their homes a lot longer. We've had, I remember one lady quite a few years ago, I started crying on the phone because her husband was just put in long-term care and she didn't drive and she was like close to 80 and she wasn't going to get her driver's license. And when she found it, she said, she started crying. She said, now I can stay in my home because I have this transportation option.
Well, I'm definitely hoping that we can help spread the word about you guys so more people like that can get your services and get the needs or help that they need to get out of their houses.
Yeah, I should probably mention at this point is there's 23 organizations like us across Nova Scotia. They're all independent nonprofits, but we've pretty well got all the rural communities in Nova Scotia covered with rural transit. We all work together as the Rural Transit Association. Right. Managers meet. We meet monthly, bi-monthly, and work on projects with the government.
Huge network.
Yeah, it's a huge network, and we support each other in different ways. And it's just, Nova Scotia is a leader in rural transportation in Canada. The other provinces are now looking at us. Yeah, it is great. Our small little province leading the way.
Leading the way.
Yeah, that's
actually,
amazing.
The other provinces actually are, getting in touch with our government, finding out how we are doing it, and basically copying now what we are doing.
That's a true of the Blue Nose.
Yes, that's the maritime spirit.
Yeah, it is right there.
We go about our way and lead the way.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, we kind of been starting our collaboration with CUA and myself, Jim, the real estate team. So one of the big things that we've been talking with you guys about is your no down payment mortgage. Can you tell us exactly what that is and who it is for?
Yeah, absolutely. So our no down payment mortgage is a really unique product that we offer in the home buying market. It's something that we are able to uniquely offer as a credit union where we are provincially regulated. It is not a program that you can participate in at one of the big five banks, for example, because of the way they are regulated differently. What the program is if you're a home buyer looking to get into the market, but maybe have faced barriers to saving for your own down payment, and those barriers can look very different. So we can discuss those a little bit. But essentially, the way it works is CUA will give you a loan to serve as the 5% down payment for you to place on your home. And then at your mortgage's closing, we'll provide you with 5% cash back on your mortgage value. And we can use that 5% cash back to then virtually pay off the loan you took for your down payment. So you're walking away at the end of the transaction with just your new mortgage, no other financial stressors like a loan on top of it. And you would have been able to get into the home buying market quicker than maybe saving for a down payment.
Yeah, no, that's a huge benefit.
Yeah, massive. How about any misunderstandings that you've kind of run into with people when they're looking into getting the zero down payment or the no down payment mortgage?
I would say kind of the biggest misunderstanding we might run into is that there is a certain type of person that is best suited for the no down payment mortgage program. And like in your previous question, you kind of said, who is it for? And this addresses that a little bit too, because saving for a down payment, we have found at CUA and in my career as a financial professional in the banking industry for over 10 years, saving for a down payment is usually the biggest barrier to home buying for a lot of people, especially in today's economy, in today's market where home prices are high, and so are day-to-day expenses, groceries, gas, utilities, all of those things. It can be difficult for even financially successful and comfortable people to save $20,000 $50,000, let's say, as a 5% down payment for a $400,000 home purchase. But the no down payment program, who it's for is people who haven't had the opportunity or have faced barriers to saving for a down payment. And that looks different in every circumstance. Sometimes it might be a new university graduate who is making good income and they're excited to be in the market, but because their income is new to them, they just haven't had that opportunity to save for a down payment yet. Or maybe it's somebody who's at a later life stage who has faced some challenges or changes. They're moving from another province to be closer to their children who have moved here, or they've had a marital status change and they're kind of starting fresh. It really applies to people of all walks of life who have faced that barrier to saving for a down payment, but are looking for an opportunity to enter the market.
Nice. Building the supportive soccer culture. How is UDFC more than just the sports organization in our community?
Yeah, I mean, so I've fondly called some of our older members or more tenured members the godfathers.
Yes.
I'll start with soccer. And I think although that should be taken in kind of a joking manner, I think it's true. Like, the people who have been invested for a long time in any of those entities continue to be incredibly invested.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of encapsulates what UDFC is, which is a bunch of really loyal people who have just got the best interests of the players at heart.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to do the best kind of by the community that we're offering things to. So I'd say like that family sense and really the loyalty goes through generations is something that sets UDFC apart from probably some other clubs in the area.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
No, definitely. Well, again, as somebody who's played for two different clubs that kind of merged in, it was it was very visible. The different level, like DU would get the number one practice times on the best field. We found ourselves at Cole Harbor practicing over on the pitch under the bridge. That was like all you could smell were the
NS Power?
Yeah, Nova Scotia Power, the smokestacks just rolling in on you. But like that joining after coaching it when it became UDFC, just seeing the people who used to play on opposite sides of the field, like opposite sides of the pitch, are now come together all for the passion of the game. And it is a very big community-driven thing, I found as well, yeah.
For sure. And honestly, to see how much people have come together in like just 7 years, the club is really young.
Yeah.
But everybody kind of brought their loyalties with them and just started to kind of swim in the same direction.
So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to hear from our sponsors next. So please have a quick listen and enjoy.
Let's have a quick pause for a second. If you've been following the Community Game Plan podcast, you already know this is bigger than just conversations.
That's right. We're growing a real estate team that's built around community first, supporting local, showing up, and actually caring about the people behind the doors.
So if you're into real estate, that's less about pressure and more about connection.
Or if you're someone who wants to be part of something community-driven, whether it's buying, selling, or collaborating,
we'd love to talk.
So reach out, get involved. Let's keep building the community together.
So for me, community is everything. And I reached, I think, my ceiling at a certain point. So I got this job, EDIA Coaching Support Lead with Canadian Sport and Student Atlantic, which allows me to continue doing what I was doing, but with not just soccer, with 56 plus sports, which is what we have here in Nova Scotia under PSOs, provincial sport organizations. So just able to have a bit more of an impact in a larger community now in the sport community through this role, supporting diverse coaches specifically.
One of the things I love about our club is the kind of the incentives that exist to support the diversity in our area and inclusion within the club. Can you talk a little bit about what the club has to offer for that and what they're doing to help create that inclusion around?
For sure. I mean, straight off the top, we have good processes and people in place. Like, we've got a DEIB committee, which I think is kind of your baseline.
Yeah.
It's what does that committee actually do thereafter? and how do they roll out programs through staff as well. So like some programs that we've had a lot of success with, and again, it goes back to that idea of being accessible and providing something for as many people as we can. But like some programs we've rolled out through that would be like our quiet soccer. So for neurodivergent kids, that was award winning this past year with Soccer Nova Scotia. We have a partnership with Special Olympics, our Tri Preston programs, which brought soccer into the communities of Cherrybrook, East Preston, and North Preston for the first time ever.
Right.
So those are some really, I think, like we go out to the communities that are underserved, and we're willing to kind of go the 80%, so they only have to come the 20% to actually get on the pitch.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that. Grew up in Lake Echo, and some of the best players that I knew through junior high were never on the summer teams.
Right.
And I was just like, what is going on? But
Yeah.
I went to Creighton.
Right.
So my junior high was the majority of East Preston went to that junior high.
Yeah.
And yeah, the numbers didn't make sense when you'd go to the field in the summer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I attended, well, actually, it was one of my practice times recently. There was the BIPOC Black Excellence UDFC event, and they had members from the Halifax Wanderers and the Halifax Tides that came out and did some sessions with the kids. I had my U18A girls, and they about 6 members of the Tides actually played a scrimmage with us, which was a blast.
And you guys destroyed them, right?
Oh no, we mixed them in. I mean, we had the mix. We had 3 on each side. Come on. But that kind of actually leads right into my next thing that I wanted us to talk about, because we now have 2 professional soccer teams in HRM.
Finally.
The Halifax Wanderers going into their 7th season, which is amazing. And we have the new Halifax Tides in their inaugural season starting in April. So I know for myself, I've been coaching female soccer for 7, almost 8 years now. So this is a big thing for me, and having that Halifax Tides and, supporting women's soccer and seeing the growth of women's soccer across not just North America, but the world and within our community. So within UDFC, how are you contributing to the growth of girls and women's soccer within the club?
Great question. Where should I start? I mean,
Once upon a time is always the best place. There was a ball.
We've been quite intentional. Yeah, there was a ball. We've been pretty intentional with how we approach engaging women. It's not just players on the pitch, but it's how many different ways can we engage people and, again, break down barriers to accessibility. So one of the great things that I brought from my time in Ontario was this idea of like an adult kick around for women. And I just remember like one of my clearest visions of coaching I've ever had was when I just started coaching, like fresh out of university, and I was coaching like an adult beginner program for women, and it was like women who were old enough to be my grandmother playing type thing, like some women in their 60s.
Love it.
Hey, we play with a woman like that.
I do. Yeah, we do.
You'd be amazed. I just remember specifically this one player booted the ball in the air. It must have gone up about 50 feet, and it came back down, and one of the 60 plus members just literally one touch took the ball out of the air, and it was the best touch I've ever seen. So that kind of set the tone for me that I was like, all right, we need more opportunities for not just players who are conventional players, but like people who might have passed the quote unquote playing stages to get involved in the game. So I kind of carried that, and I really landed on my feet with UDFC, where there was already initiatives like Winspire happening.
Right.
So Winspire, for example, we got Erin McLeod out to do a keynote speech. It was nationally recognized by Coach.ca. So that was a big one that was here before I even landed.
And those that don't know Erin McLeod, she's a ex-national women's soccer player.
She's all right.
And she's going to be the goalkeeper for the Halifax Tides.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, she's all right. I'm going to completely stick it out there. I have never bought a World Cup ticket for the men's soccer, and I have multiple times gone to a Women's World Cup game
Nice.
because I find the soccer, and I don't care who doesn't agree, is way better.
Oh, I
so many
100%.
less dives. I find the technical aspect it's just beautiful in the women's soccer.
is,
So
yeah.
to watch Team Canada and Team USA actually play in New Brunswick was like highlights of my life.
I saw the Canada-Mexico game at Halifax Wanderers grounds. That was amazing. That was a fun soccer game too.
Yeah.
So we'll continue on. I mean, within DFC, you encourage, or what's something that you guys are encouraging more women to step into the coaching and leadership roles? I know Soccer Nova Scotia recently held a all-female C license, I believe it was, training. And you guys took part of that?
Yeah, I'm helping to facilitate that, which is really fun. We've got, I want to say, about 18 different coaches at the moment in She Can Coach, which is done by Canada Soccer. It's basically fully funded courses, either community level, so your very entry level ones, or this more recently, the C Diploma. So we've got 8 different coaches there, which I want to say those numbers make us probably the most prevalent club within the She Can Coach programs. So we're really taking advantage of those opportunities and kind of encouraging our coaches to get involved.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, things I didn't know.
Yeah. No, we're very fortunate that even myself, like I'm taking advantage of She Can Coach grant money towards my A diploma.
That's amazing. I wish that kind of stuff was along earlier. I had my mother coached my team for a while. Go figure, my mom in soccer, right? My mom does everything. My sister was our manager for our team when I was Cole Harbour, but again, she probably would have stepped up, but she just, didn't have time for the courses, didn't have the money for the courses, like she had to put it into school. And they were like really, they were interested in soccer. Like my sister was my favorite manager, but it's because she wasn't afraid putting us in our place.
Right.
But again, same with anytime as somebody who coached girls as well, like needing a woman on the sideline, like finding that assistant coach or that manager to come in and like volunteer their time was really difficult. I could have picked like a guy from anywhere. Yeah. But to find that woman's support, that female support on the pitch was just...
I've been fortunate. My girlfriend Tanya has kind of followed my tracks and has gone into the coaching world. So she's my usually my number one assistant, and it's great because I always have a female with me. Yeah, and I'm coaching female soccer, so it just goes hand in hand, which is I love.
Just being in my apartment in a dark room because I had some bleeding in my brain after a concussion. So those are some of the things that we talk about in our programs and educating. Not just the athletes to take care of them, but how our coaches. Not letting kids who are like, I got a concussion, but I'm good, coach. Put me in.
We'll be back on. Yeah. Oh, I had a girl last year where she got a concussion a couple games, and she showed up. She was dressed. She's like, I'm ready to go. I'm like, I'm sorry. Our club has a policy of 2 weeks. You're off completely. No practice, no games. She's like, but we need players. I'm like, sorry, I'm following club policy.
100%. But the key thing here is that you don't then go and they see you get a concussion and you're playing.
And go back on. Well, they didn't see me as a teenager because I did that all the time.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, because the biggest thing that is bad about coaches is we tell our athletes, do as I say, not as I do. Yeah. And that is everything that's wrong.
We tell them the story of our glory days, which were very different days. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. Wrapping your ankle tighter to get back on the pitch. Like, I remember my first concussion, and I was literally off until I wasn't seeing blurry. And then back on I go because we needed that defender. We were short.
Yeah, I had similar thing with hockey. I got hit from behind, head first into the boards. I went off the ice. My dad joked. He's like, you look like you were drunk skating back to the bench. Got to the bench, went to the end of the bench, threw up. Waited like 2 or 3 shifts, and the coach like, you good to go? I'm like, sure. Jumped right in.
These stories do not help the kids we coach.
No, I tell them those stories though. They laugh.
So they know.
Yeah, but that's it. So they know. Like, that's it.
You don't want to turn out like me. So listen to the concussion protocol.
And then in addition to the newcomer program, we also have an on-site social worker. And so we can provide that emotional support to those community members who may be struggling. And we can help them to navigate the best suited program for their needs. And if we can't do it, we've also developed a vast network across Halifax of other partner organizations. So as a nonprofit, we can only do so much for so many. So we have developed all those partnerships in the community that are needed so we can help people navigate and try to make it as seamless as possible.
We're actually diversifying a bit, and fundraising might become a big thing because at one point we drive a lot of people with intellectual disabilities, and they all live at home with their caregivers. It can be a grandparent or a parent or excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold. And we know that a few are kind of housing insecure, we notice, because when in situations, so we we realize there's no housing for people with intellectual disabilities on the Eastern Shore, all the way from Dartmouth to Port Hawkesbury, all along the Eastern Shore. There's no housing, and the department recognizes it as a gap area for housing. So we kind of looked around the community and said, well, who provides service to people with intellectual disability? And when we looked around, we said, it's only us.
Oh, wow.
So I approached the board and told them this, and they said, we'd be interested in doing that. We really want to be involved. If you're going to form another organization, we want to be involved in this. Why don't we just do it? So we actually got approved as a small homes option provider just before the remedy came out, and they put a hold on small option homes. But we are actually at the point now that we are applying for other things and looking at a piece of property to purchase quite close to our office in Porter's Lake that would be walkable and convenient to build some housing.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
Provide that service. So we're kind of diversifying into that, but we're at the very beginning and we really have no idea what we're doing.
Well, that's where you tie in. That's where it helps.
And I had no idea what I was doing.
Oddly enough, here you go. We know everything from getting community together for fundraisers, and we definitely know real estate. So housing, we understand that, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So what other big hurdles have you guys come across since you guys have been running this? Or any major hurdles? Is it the weather? I mean, I know your vehicles probably have some issues from time to time as well. How do you get over those hurdles as such a small organization?
Well, we don't really think of them as hurdles, do we? We just think of them as
bumps in the road.
We just solve them.
We just solve. There's no problems, just solutions.
I love that. All right, so I'll switch it then. What's your favorite success aha moment?
I think when we bought our office was a big deal to us. We were a very small organization at the time, but we knew we wanted to get into electric vehicles. And we knew we couldn't do that in a rental unit. And the person that owned the little tiny office we were in, is very tiny. He said he was building a strip mall and he was going to demolish this little office. So he said, you can come and live in our strip mall. And I'm like, I can't afford to live in your strip mall. And where we're going to park all our vehicles and where we're going to put our electric charger was my thought.
Every single parking spot.
So we looked around and we went kind of on a limb and purchased a property very close to the main industrial area, very close to a strip mall, like within a quarter kilometer of the superstore, doctor's offices, dentist's office, kind of in the central. We knew we wanted to be close. And we bought it before the prices went crazy. So it was great. And so we were able to, and that's why we're able to do the electric vehicles. That's why we're able to do the solar, because we own the building. And we also rent part of our building to the Eastern Shore Muscatava Valley Learning Network. So they do a lot of classes for seniors here, and which is a great partnership because we're often able to get our seniors connected to different programs, especially after we realize they, kind of socially isolated. We are very aware of all the other nonprofits we partner with, almost everyone in the community, frankly, through one food project or a different other project, or we're driving their clients. So we know what's going on in the community. So we often tell clients, we don't say you should. I tell our drivers that's one word you should never say you should. But you can say, do you know about?
Right.
Yes.
Right? And you provide them with information. We have flyers. We give them out books. So we kind of connect the clients often with, especially if they're socially isolated. And even not, we get them involved in the community as much as we can.
I can tell you a little bit more about each of the programs that we offer here at Vithos, if you're interested.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the one program I actually did want to talk to you about because it's I love it, but your urban farm. I love working in the yard. I love gardening. I have gardens myself as long as I can remember. It's something that's really interesting. I found when I was researching, and then you also have other programs connected to that. So how would you dive into those?
Yeah, so the urban farm is kind of that central program and service. It really ties a lot of things together. So we do have an on-site greenhouse that produces over 300 pounds of local produce into the community. And we also have a family of egg-laying chickens too, now in the north end of Halifax. So yeah, they distribute or actually produce 1,500 fresh eggs right in our own backyard each year. That we can incorporate into our breakfast program.
Yeah.
And we can also make accessible through our free pantry and fridge right out in front of the building.
Awesome.
So,
So cool.
My gosh, Jamie, there are restaurants in this province.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Jamie. I didn't mean to interrupt, but my gosh, man, there are restaurants in this province that don't offer that kind of service.
Yeah,
wonderful.
We don't mess around here at Vithos. We are very busy, and we're always prioritizing getting as much food out into the community as we possibly can in any number of innovative ways. So, but yeah, the urban garden is arguably our busiest because not only is it a producer of food, but we get to use it for education opportunities to encourage food literacy. We get to host our socialization programs outside so community members can actually get down in the dirt and learn more about how their food is produced right up until it goes on their plate. So the garden is pretty cool.
So we're back. Like I said, we're recording
We're
this.
back for 2026. They didn't get rid of us.
We're back in 2026. We really do hope that you enjoyed our last year of podcasting, our first year of podcasting. We do hope that you continue along this journey with us and exploring our communities and our community leaders, as well as dealing with our antics. I hope you kind of enjoy some of our fun and like we always wanted this to be authentic, show our personalities, because as we've seen in our real estate career, there's a certain look that every realtor's supposed to have, and that's what I heard from day one from one of my original mentors that I never agreed with, and today I'm still here. What am I, 18 years into the industry or something stupid like that, and I'm myself. I'm not the mask that person told me I had to wear.
Yeah, no, and it's been the same. As I've done everything from riding like my motorbike, like going in as the young guy who was showing up on something expensive, to having a suit when I took off that jacket and the bike pants.
Yeah.
And you know what? I found that was just hot. It wasn't attractive. I was just really warm. I've been as physically fit as I've been in my life in there, to the point where I've just been run off my feet. Again, stressing the perception, trying to fit in that mold. And I think the wonderful thing about real estate that isn't seen is there is no mold. The mold is made to be broken. The only thing that needs to be focused on is how you treat your clients, how good you do your job for your clients, and like the outcome. Like it's about the honesty, it's about the respect, it's about getting the deals together. Or
and I think that's why. Yeah, I mean that's one thing that drew us together was the fact that we do care, and it was about our clients at the end of the day, not the dollars in our pockets. You know, the dollars in our pockets help. They help us continue volunteering, helping us do everything that we want to do. But at the end of the day, if I don't feel something's right for my client, I'm going to speak up and say something and make sure that they don't go down a rabbit hole that they don't need to go down.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like, and that's what this podcast is. Yeah. It's an extension of that. We want to get that information out. I really hope that people found, at least out of everyone they've watched, at least one bit. Like if you've come away with one takeaway from every show, it's worth it to me. So and I hope people continue to watch for that.
Oh, I don't think we're not going to do a hot take today for this one, but hot takes are going to change. Mm-hmm. They might get a little controversial. They might get a little heated.
Hot take is going to be the big change.
Is going to become a hot take, a true hot take. I think is what we want to do. You know, because I part of me, I was saying the gym is that I think hot takes should be at times controversial, and that would spark more conversation on our socials and in our inboxes, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. We can take the heat because whatever is said on here, it's our personal opinions. Yeah. It's, you know, it's not representative of the company that we work for or anything like that. So yeah, come back, listen to some future hot takes, throw your own opinions in. We'd love to hear it.
Right? Exactly. So, but that's it. So like, share, follow, comment, please. And
find us on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Blue Sky. I rarely ever use Twitter anymore. YouTube. Big on YouTube. All of us. Follow. Like, share, comment. Yeah. In that order.
Correct.
All right. So we're going to sign off for now. Like I said, this is a little bit different podcast than our normal one. It's probably a little rusty because we haven't done this in
a month or two. Our producers decided to think that you, as the audience, wanted to see and hear this stuff.
That's right. Enjoy the supercut episode. 2025 was great, but onward and upwards in 2026 as the real estate team grows. The real estate community game plan podcast will also grow and evolve. Thanks again, and we're signing off. My name's Eric Holman.
Jim Smartin.
We're the real estate team on the Community Game Plan podcast. Have a great day, everyone.